What is the best time of year to buy and sell property in Billericay? If you're looking to find out when the best and less active times are, I'm going to provide a bit of a breakdown into some of those better and what would be worst classed as worst times to sell and move in Billericay. So to start, I think more generally, firstly, I think it's worth making the point that while there are better and, as I say, less active times, as long as a home is priced correctly and I say this a lot in videos, but priced correctly and marketed incredibly well, you can sell a home at any time of the year. At any time, there are always people in market, buyers in market looking to move, because there's a whole host of reasons why people could be looking to move home, and that means that there will always be people in market. Now, are there times of year where there are probably more people in market? Absolutely, there are definitely times where there are far more people in market. But as I say, there isn't. I don't think there's a time of year where I'd say you just shouldn't put your home on the market, because, as I say, there could be very kind of personal reasons why it needs to go on the market. And I think if it needs to for your situation, then it should, because you can sell a home at any point in the year as long as it's priced correctly and marketed well. So that's the key thing to understand first. In the next few videos, I'm going to break down those times of year that are better a little bit more. But as I say, I just wanted to cover that more generally first. In terms of the better times of year to list your home on the market, I think the first one to cover is spring. So going into April, May, that is a really busy time of year traditionally for the property market, and the property market does in most cases move in quite seasonal patterns. So we see a bit more of a slowdown at the start of the year, but again, so traditionally we do see a slowdown at the start of the year, and then it peaks again into spring, as I say, April, May. So the sun starts to come out. People start to think about moving before summer. They want to get in their new home before summer, so they start to look around that springtime to be able to make that possible. But while in most cases it moves in traditional patterns, actually, for example, this year has not acted in traditional patterns at all. It's been kind of almost a total opposite, particularly in Billericay. And what we found was actually the beginning of the year, January, February, was so busy. And this was because of a very, what would be a small piece and a small change that would only really happen this year, and that was the stamp duty. The change in stamp duty meant that this all switched around quite a lot, and it wasn't the traditional seasonal pattern. Because the start of the year, January, February and March, was really busy. And then actually May was much quieter than probably any of us were expecting. So it changed quite a lot. But May is normally a very busy time of year and a great time to move in, because, as I say, people start to think about moving after getting Christmas and the New Year out of the way. They then start to think about moving. The sun starts to come out and they want to move before summer. Now, a slightly slower time of year is around the summer holidays, and we've felt that in the last 6 weeks of the year recently in Billericay, where the market is a lot slower. There is a slowdown because people go on holiday. When the kids come out of school, they go on holiday. People with families, if you've got kids at home, you don't want to have viewings on your home. You don't want people coming around to value your home. You don't want to be going out to view homes because you've got the kids with you. So it's very natural that the market does slow down. And again, we've seen that this year. So that is certainly a slower time of year, in the summer holidays, and as I say, we've felt that this year in Billericay. The final time of year that I wanted to cover in terms of when is the best and what would be worst times of year to sell and buy in Billericay. A really strong time of year is September and probably the beginning to mid and sometimes the whole of October, but mainly September. The reason being is because, one, the summer holidays have just ended, which means the kids are back to school, people have more time, they're not going on holidays as much anymore. Certainly the bulk of people aren't going on holidays, which means there's far more people active and looking to move, and they haven't got this kind of the blocks that they would have when the kids were off school. And also September and the beginning of October is probably one of the last chances you've got to be able to move before Christmas. And that is when a lot of people go, okay, I want to move before Christmas. So they start to put it in place in September. So it's normally a very, very busy time of year, September. But then that naturally again starts to slow down towards the end of the year around Christmas time, because naturally people don't want to be doing too much when they've got the Christmas decorations up. It's a very busy time of year for everyone anyway, so they don't want to be adding too much on top. So we do see a slowdown as we move in towards the end of the year, in towards Christmas. So yeah, that's kind of everything kind of covered in terms of the seasonal patterns and when the best and what would be worst times of year to move in Billericay. But as I covered in the first video, you can move at any point of year and there are always buyers in market, so that is really important to remember. But if you want more of a seasonal strategy, find out a bit more of a seasonal strategy for your property in Billericay, feel free to send me a message and I'll be happy to help.